Well, good morning. Welcome to Wednesday in the Word. I love the Gospel of John, and in the Gospel of John, we read about one of the most beautiful displays of worship. Jesus was in the home of Mary and Martha and Lazarus. And here's what we read in John chapter 12, verses 1 through 3. 6 days before the Passover, Jesus came to Bethany, where Lazarus lived, whom Jesus had raised from the dead. Here a dinner was given in Jesus' honor. Martha served, while Lazarus was among those reclining at the table with him. Then Mary took about a pint of pure nard, an expensive perfume, and she poured it on Jesus' feet and wiped his feet with her hair. And the house was filled with the fragrance of her perfume. I love this passage so much, and I believe what we see in this passage is a beautiful demonstration of what it looks like to truly worship Jesus. Mary demonstrates humble submission by sitting at Jesus' feet. She was ready to hear what Jesus had to say to her. She's close to Jesus. She sees him and she hears him. And I believe that Mary wanted to learn from Jesus. I believe she wants to be more than a hearer. She wants to be a doer. And I believe the overflow of her worship for Jesus is generosity and sacrifice. We see Mary's generosity by pouring out an expensive perfume and pouring it all out on Jesus' feet. This was her sacrifice. Mary gave her best to Jesus. She gave her all to Jesus. This was her act of worship. There were some in that room that day that didn't understand what Mary was doing or why Mary was doing it. As a matter of fact, there was a man named Judas Iscariot, one of the disciples, who asked this question: why wasn't this perfume sold and the money given to the poor? It was worth a year's wages. But we know the heart of Judas Iscariot. His heart was not set on the poor. His heart was set on himself. He didn't want to use that money to help someone else. He wanted to use that money to help himself. Jesus recognized Judas Iscariot's heart, and he also recognized Mary's heart. And this is what he said to Judas Iscariot: leave her alone. You see, Jesus accepted Mary's worship. He embraced her generosity. He embraced her sacrifice. I don't know about you today, but I want to worship Jesus like that. I want to sit at his feet so that I can be close to him. I want to hear his words, and I don't want to just be a hearer. I want to be a doer. I want to look like Jesus. I want to live like Jesus. And in order for that to happen, I have to spend time with him. I have to spend time sitting at his feet. I have to spend time worshiping him, truly worshiping him. Because what we find is that when we truly worship Jesus, there will be an overflow of that worship. And as we see in Mary's life, the overflow is generosity and sacrifice. And so I want you to think about your worship for Jesus today. I'm going to think about my worship for Jesus today. Am I sitting at Jesus' feet often? Am I sitting at Jesus' feet so that I can be close to him, so that I can hear what he has to say in order to apply it? I wonder today, am I experiencing an overflow of worship, generosity, sacrifice, compassion, and most importantly, love? Love for Jesus and love for fellow man. I love this passage of Scripture. I love this demonstration of worship. And today, I want to embrace it as my own. Thank you for spending time with me this morning and Wednesday in the Word. I look forward to being with you next week.